Okay, we're cleaning parts here. So this is all the stuff I bought off of eBay. So I've been cleaning stuff up. So if you go back a couple videos, see what this cover looked like before I blasted it. Now it's all clean. So that's what it looks like. These are cylinders. I just got done hosing them down with CRC to help keep them rusting again. That's all over the place right now. I just got done cleaning this SMS head up. So I blasted out all the carbons in the ports. I have not put the CRC on this one yet. You only really need the CRC, the stuff that is got steel in it, like around the seats here. Especially the exhaust seats where they tend to rust because of all the contamination from that. So I just put a little of that on there and that'll stop from rusting. So that's all that really takes for now. This is the original finish on here. Now, if you want to have the original bead blast finish that looks like that, you can always blast the head later. Right now I've matched it up to if you have another new casting you found, it'll match it. So it's just a matter of doing stuff like that. This here's the backing plate. It was kind of corroded. Now it's all nice and fresh again. This oil pump's really rusty. I got to take this thing apart to get it apart more. It's pretty rusty. So I'm going to try to get the screws out. So this is the case. Here's before I do anything to it. Kind of see what it looks like. Pretty rusty, crappy looking, full of oil and crap. So that's got to be worked on. Right now my blaster's running back here. Looks like we're up about 140 pounds pressure. I got plenty of stuff to blast around here. I showed some of this stuff before. This is beforehand, what it looks like before. This is after what they look like. So cylinders do the same thing. They start out real nasty looking, especially that one. And we go all clean, a nice clean steel. Looks like this finish here is steel. So right now we got this thing making a lot of noise back here. Alright, we turn that off. Turn off our fan, that's an after cooler. So that's how I make heat in here. It's cold in here right now, it's winter time. So right now my tank is at room temp, slightly above, not much. That is at room temp also. So the air comes out of here, you compress it, it's two-stage air compressor. This used to be a 5-horse setup back in the day, but since then the pump got replaced with a 7.5-horse pump, and then the electric motor with a 5-horse, when it failed I put a 7.5-horse pump on there, or motor, and so now we got a 7.5-horse motor, air compressor unit. It went up. And then back there in the back, I put a big ass pulley back there, so I spin this thing up at high speed too to get more volume, because this blaster here is a hog for air. I also have another big tank down there on the floor back there, and so that's that. That's my phase converter back there for my milling machine, which is right there. This is single phase power. Now, if I knew I had that big converter, now I got that big converter back there, I can go to a 3-phase electric motor, and it'd be a lot cheaper motor and it would run more efficiently. But can't do that until now. So basically what happens is the air comes in through that filter right there, goes into your first stage, your big piston, it collapses, it compresses it, then it goes into the second piston, the small one, your high pressure piston, then it comes out. Now this is the air line that comes out of the first compression. It's got the fins on here for help cooling it. It's all copper, and it gets pretty hot. Not too bad on fans, a little hotter there. And it goes into the other head over there. Compressed again, comes out here. This one's really, really hot. And it goes on up the line. So normally this runs into your tank right here, but we run this after cooler up here. So basically it's a big radiator. It's an air-to-air radiator. So the pressure goes through here. This is a one-way check valve. Then it goes up into plumbing, goes up in the top of the unit up in there. And this is just like it's just like a big oil cooler up in there. If you look up in there, just has a bunch of fins in there. You kind of can see in there. You can see what it looks like. So anyway, and it's only been run for 1,914 hours. There you go. Harley used it all. Dad tags everything, so it's been there since '79. See, '79. He liked putting stuff on here. This is June of '77. We did this. Change the quartz. 2,000 hours. We put a new pump on it in May of '97. Yep. So now it's got 3147 hours. So it's got 50 hours on it. On the new pump, I don't know when we did the electric motor, but Dad likes to use to tag everything. So, but anyway, it comes out of here, that cools the air down, and then it goes into this hose here, and back into your tank here, and the air is nice and cool, because this sucks all the heat out. Which works really nice for warming up this building, because this building is cold as hell right now. So it's our heater for wintertime. Summertime it sucks. But the biggest thing is the water separators. So we got water separators here, they rarely do anything. There used to be a couple laying down behind the wall there somewhere. This is the best water separator we got. So this is basically, this blows down through here, and you have another tube that sticks down right in here, and this thing fills up full of water. It comes in here, stops the airflow. When you change the air pressure from being high pressure to low pressure going into here, it basically lets the water drop out, and then the air comes back out and goes through there. And then you drain out your water in here. So you control that with a valve right here. And you got inside water. I don't think I'll drink that though, but anyway, there you go. So right now, in the last hour so I've been running it, we sucked that much water out of the air. Because it's winter time, it's kind of humid. Not too bad around here, but there is humidity. So this works really, really good for getting water out. These things here, you run them all day, you might get a couple squirts in the can in here. So there you go. This is the normal amount of air you get out of that. Water, I mean. You got squat. So that collects in there. It also collects in the bottom of this tank, but we try to get most of it right here. So anyway, that's how you keep the water out of your lines. This is the best device I've ever come up with. Wind in that, and anybody can make their own. It's just a piece of 2x3 tubing with some fittings welded in. Once you get the air leaks to stop leaking from good wells, it's not a problem anymore. It's been on there for years. So anyway, that's how that works. So then we go into our big blaster here. Excuse me. So that's a Unihorn, made up in LA, Los Angeles. So this is an old one. There's your serial number there if you care. It's a big one, it's 3 foot square, so it's a cube. So it works pretty good. And that's what it looks like. There's my phone. We'll be back. Alright, we're back. Interrupted. Alright, so let's talk about the bead blaster here. So bead blasting uses beads. So these are beads. They're basically little glass BBs. They're round spears. And as you use them, they blast and disintegrate and turn to crap. So the higher the pressure, the quicker they break. So, and this system here collects them. So it's got a hopper down there, collects it, and then it goes into a recirculation thing here in the back, which is this big ass thing back here. It's a big screen that shakes back and forth, and it makes it separate out, and the junk comes out down the hole underneath, which you can't see right now, which is under there. And the good stuff is over here in the front. And there you go. So these are the BBs I use. And this is the brand here, Potter Mix. I almost read the name on that. Yeah, appears to have a junk there. So anyway, so that's what we use. When this gets in, oh man, that gets you right in the ribs when you get too close. So in here, when this gets empty sounding up in here, like that sounds, it's time to put new BBs in. Which means it goes in through there. And then you can do it again. Yeah, that hurt my rib. That hurts when you hit that stuff. Alright, so we got that bag of BB down there. See, when you're carrying a camera and trying to walk backwards, you hit all kinds of crap. Now the aisle is not full of crap. That's not the reason I'm tripping over junk. I never have too much junk. Just tight quarters. Alright, so I'm going to show you what the BBs look like when they go into the machine over here. And see what you can do. Now these blasters, you can pick this stuff up. A lot of shops are discontinuing this stuff because the EPA don't like them anymore. But anyway, there's a lot of this stuff available on the internet used. Shops closing up, stuff like that. Okay, next thing I'm going to hit is this handle right here. Get it out of the way. Alright. Now we can see what it looks like. So there is what it is right there. There's some locations, 50-pound bag. Here's a phone number right here and an internet location, go buy it. So anyway, they make them in different grits. This used to be AC grit, which is relatively coarse. And AG was a real fine. So if you want a real mirror finish type thing, well, no, not mirror, but real high sheen, real fine surface texture, go with the finer grit bead. Now if you go to sand, to cut heavy iron and stuff that's really nasty looking, which is that crap all over there, looks like neat sand. Then you have different levels of sand you can get. This is basically your trail mix you put on the ground. It's not really blasting sand, but it does work. You get it cheap. Didn't work very well, but it does work. And then there used to be a bag floating around under here somewhere. I use, it comes in different grits. And I'm looking for stuff. There's more BBs, but or more beads. And I'm not seeing the sand right now. There's somewhere on here sand. There's one. There's what's left of the bag. So there you go. Emerald cream Greek. So this is 110 grit, 150 grit, real fine. Here's the location here. There's a number right there you can look up. It doesn't say what the grit is, the color code. I'm sure this color means something. Anyway, it's real fine grit sand. Down there you kind of see a little bit. See, it's real fine grit. Looks like it's all worn out. Super fine grit. So that gives you something that's between halfway between sand, regular garnet sand, which is either 60 or 80 grit, and then beads. So if you got something that's kind of nasty looking but not super nasty, you know, like regular cylinders where they're not really corroded real bad, you know, they clean up it better with finer grit. When you get really heavy rust, like this one over here, then you need to do something about it. You get this real heavy barnacly rust here, that's going to take coarser grit. Now the problem with coarse grit sand is it cuts really bad. I've been seeing a lot of stuff on eBay where they've been blasting heads and stuff with coarse grit sand. And what you don't notice is it's taking the material away as you're blasting it. And I've seen when there's been gaskets left over and they've been blasting around and all of a sudden you got a big plateau high spot sticking up because they blasted away about 20,000 worth of material. And I've seen some cases that were really nasty looking cases probably. Kind of like this set right here. And they're coming in there, they're taking it down to an industrial supply place where they're doing their blasting, ships and stuff like that, or buildings. And they must be using about 20 grit pea gravel because the texture is really rough. And you can just see how all the surfaces are different looking. And they've actually blasted away, I think, probably 30,000 material off cases. I've seen them where these surfaces are real thin because they just blast it all away. Because those guys come in there with those big ass guns and they just start blasting away. They don't give a crap about what they're doing. They're just getting the crap cleaned off. And that just destroys your parts. So when you're going to blast stuff, don't take it to an industrial place. Unless they can tell you for sure they're going to use fine grit sand. Preferably nothing coarser than 80 grit. It's pretty coarse. So if you care about your parts, don't go to industrial places too much. Alright, so now this one here looks like it's a relatively new bag, but it's got a hole in it. So right now we're just going to take this and dump it now. A lot of times I have extra sand in my buckets down here. Yeah, see, I always got a mixture of sand and beads in it, in there. Thought I had one. See, it's got the reddish color on top. So that's old beads and sand on top. So when I want to do a heavy blasting, I take that out, I swap out the media, and go to the other one. Right now I'm doing beads, so I'm going going to use that. So just basically just flip this upside down here. This. Make sure it goes into the tank. There it belongs. There we go. And the bag's getting lighter. When you start getting fumes in here, you turn the machine on. It sucks the air, sucks everything back in so you don't have to breathe it. This had moisture in it, that's why it's like this. That'll break up. So you fill up the container in there, or how much you want to put in. You do about a half bag at a time. That way if I want to change it, I don't have to spend too much time doing it. That's pretty hard there. It's got water and moisture in there. See how it's all hard? Caked up in there. When you got cakes, it doesn't want to really flow. Not good. So you bust it up in your bag before you put the bag up here helps. There's a big rock in there. Break it up. Like ice, just break it up. There we go. We're good to go. Start catching on sharp edges like right here. It tears big holes in your bag. When you pick the bag up, it comes flying all over the place. Then you got a big mess on the floor you got to deal with. Alright, so this here, pull it up on itself a couple times. And stuff it back in the hole. There you go. Alright, so there you go. That's got a nice... That didn't work very well. My gloves are worn out. I bought all this stuff to go in here, but I'm not sure what I did with it. That was before I moved. But I am going to have to start doing something soon. We're starting to get some holes and things. That glove's not too bad. This glove over here is a lot worse. See, this one has issues with the fingers and the thumb really not doing anything anymore. So this is a big gauntlet style glove, which goes all the way from here to here. They go by inches. How much around the hole here is what they go by. And they're pretty much universal sizing. And then this one over here, looks like it had a hole, or oh, this one here, I cut one off just to put another glove in it. This is like a cleaning glove for solvents and stuff like that. That's why it was a little short. So I'm just, obviously I picked up a couple of them, so I'm just using them. You make do. It doesn't have to be fancy to work. All right, so that's how you do all that.